Okay, so get this right. Today, we're going to dive deep into financial freedom, but with a twist. We're going to Spain. Well, literally. But we're going to unpack some surprisingly useful advice from this book I found. And oh my gosh, the title. Okay, so it's called, are you ready for this? Ten peor coche que tu vecino.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah,
You know it.
it means have a worse car than your neighbor, right?
Exactly. See, I told you. Amazing title, right? I mean, at first it sounds kind of strange. Like, who wants a worse car than their neighbor? But let me tell you, this book, it totally had me hooked.
It's brilliant, actually. It makes you rethink everything you thought you knew about, like success and money.
Right. Like, we're always told to keep up with the Joneses, right?
Yeah.
But this book, it's like, hold on a minute. What if there's a different way?
Yeah, exactly. Love that.
And to make its point, get this, it tells this really relatable story about this guy, Horacio. Okay, so he's got, a decent job, but he's constantly stressed, living paycheck to paycheck, feels this pressure, to keep up appearances. Sound familiar? Oh, totally. Horacio is like the poster child for modern life.
Yeah.
So many people feel that pressure to project a certain image, even
Right.
if it means like overspending or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. And the book, it even mentions how, like, this stress, it actually manifests in Horacio's life.
Yeah.
So he has this nervous eye tic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it acts up whenever, his anxiety's bad.
Think about
It's like it's a small detail.
Right.
But it just makes his struggle feel so relatable.
Totally. These small details, they draw you in. You really connect with the character, It's like, okay, I get it, Horacio.
Exactly. And speaking of connecting, Horacio ends up meeting his neighbor, Javier,
Okay, yeah.
through, like, this kind of awkward encounter. Javier uses a wheelchair, and he becomes, get this, like this surprising source of wisdom for Horacio.
Interesting.
It's like that classic mentor-student thing you see in stories, but this time, it's about money.
I like it's like a Trojan horse for financial advice.
Yeah.
You're drawn in by the story, and then boom, you're learning about finances without even realizing it.
Yes, exactly. And they describe Javier as, like, being like Professor X from X-Men.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And not just because he uses a wheelchair, but, like, he's incredibly insightful. He's got this, like, wise, mentor-like presence.
I love that. That's perfect. It instantly gives you this sense of his character, and it sets the stage for Horacio to, like, learn and grow.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of learning and growing, can we talk about the first piece of wisdom that Javier drops on Horacio? Pre-saving.
Oh, yeah. This is where things start to get interesting. So, pre-saving. Tell me more. What is that?
Okay, so pre-saving, it's basically automating your savings.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of waiting till the end of the month to save what's left over, which, let's be honest, is usually nothing.
Yeah, it never happened.
Right, exactly. So instead, you automate a transfer right when you get paid, like a specific amount, straight to your savings account.
You're like telling your money where to go before you even see it.
Right, it's like out of sight, out of mind, And it really works because, well, psychology.
Okay, tell me more about that. How does psychology play into this whole thing?
Well, think about it. When you pre-save, you're basically removing that temptation to spend that money because in your mind, it's already gone. It's like it's not even part of your checking account anymore. So you're less likely to, impulse buy that fancy coffee or those shoes you definitely don't need.
Makes sense. So it's like you're tricking yourself into saving.
In a way, yeah. But like a good trick. A trick that sets you up for success.
I like it. Although I will say, the book mentions that Horacio, our guy in the story, he kind of struggles with this concept at first. It's like he's almost afraid to pre-save.
Oh, yeah, I totally get it. It's a really common reaction, especially if you're like used to living paycheck to paycheck. It can feel kind of scary, right? to think about like automatically setting aside money, even a small amount. Because what if like an emergency comes up and you need it?
It's that fear of the unknown, I guess. Like, what if I can't make ends meet?
Exactly. But here's the thing. The book really emphasizes that it's totally okay to start small. Like, you don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Even setting aside like 5 or 10% of each paycheck.
Small steps.
Exactly. Small, consistent steps over time make a huge difference.
I've always loved that saying, small steps lead to big changes or something like that, right?
Totally. And speaking of big changes, can we talk about the snowball effect of compound interest?
Oh, yes. Compound interest. I feel like I hear that term thrown around a lot, but honestly, I'm not sure I totally get it.
Okay, so picture a snowball, right? Rolling down a hill.
Okay, got it.
So it starts small, right? But as it rolls, it picks up more and more snow. Gets bigger and bigger.
Right.
Compound interest. It's kind of like that snowball. It's basically like interest earning interest.
Whoa!
Right. So even a small amount of money, if you invest it consistently over time, it can grow like crazy.
Okay, that makes more sense. But do you have Like a real-world example? Because it still seems a little unbelievable, you know? Like €1 million after 30 years. That can't be real.
It sounds crazy, but honestly, that's the magic of compound interest. Okay, so let's say you invest, I don't know, $100 today,
Okay.
and you earn, say, a 5% return. So next year, you'll have $105,
Okay.
right? But, and here's the key, the year after that, you're not just earning interest on your initial $100. You're earning interest on that $105 and so on and so on. Over time, all those small gains, they add up exponentially.
Wow. That's kind of incredible.
It is. It's like the ultimate example of patience pays off.
So it's like playing the long game, right? Just being patient, trusting the process, and letting that money do its thing.
Exactly. And this ties back to the whole idea of financial freedom, right?
Yeah.
Because Javier, in the book, he says that true financial freedom, it's not about just having a ton of money. It's about having options.
Okay, yeah. It's about freedom to do what you want when you want.
Right. And also like aligning your choices with your values, right? Not just your bank account.
It's about more than just the money.
Exactly. It's about asking yourself, like, what would I do if money were no object? What would truly make me happy?
I love that. So it's not about depriving yourself. It's about prioritizing what matters most.
100%.
And speaking of prioritizing, didn't the book talk about these 7 habits, like specific things that people can do to, achieve that financial freedom?
Yes. They basically offer this roadmap, right?
Yeah.
To help you align like your everyday actions with your financial goals.
Okay, so we talked about the first 2. Living below your means.
Ten peor que tu vecino.
Love it. And automating your savings. So what's number 3?
Okay, number 3 is ahorra tus subidas de sueldo.
Which means,
Save your raises.
oh, okay.
So instead of like getting a raise and immediately letting your lifestyle creep up, like, well, I'm going to start buying fancier coffee or I'm going to buy those shoes now.
Yep, been there.
Right. Instead, you make a conscious choice to save that extra money.
So smart. It's like you're giving your future self a raise. I like it. Okay, what's habit number 4?
Okay. This one might sound a little extreme to some people, but it's no te endeudas. Don't go into debt.
Okay. Yeah, I can see how some people might raise an eyebrow at that one. Don't go into debt at all. Like what about, I don't know, getting a mortgage or something?
Right, of course. There's like smart ways to use debt,
Exactly.
like getting a mortgage to buy a house or, maybe investing in your education if you need to. But the idea is to be really mindful about it. Like, do I need to go into debt for this or can I save up and pay for it in cash?
So it's not about never ever going into debt. It's more about being smart and intentional about it.
Exactly. And that leads us perfectly into habit number 5, which is, y si necesitas endeudarte, and if you need to go into debt.
Okay, so you do need to borrow money. Then what?
Then you got to be really, really careful about it. Like, shop around for the best interest rates. Make sure you can actually afford the monthly payments. Don't just jump into something without really thinking it through.
Do your research, right?
Yes, 1,000%. Okay, ready for number 6.
Hit me. What's number 6?
This one's fun. Genera ingresos pasivos. Generate passive income.
Oh, passive income. I love this one. It's like the dream.
Yeah.
Having your money work for you. So what are some examples of passive income?
Ooh, so many. Okay, you could get into real estate, right? Like buy a property and rent it out.
Ooh, rental income.
Yes. Or let's say you're creative. You could write an ebook or create an online course and then boom, people buy it while you sleep.
I know, it's the best. Or investing in dividend stocks, right?
Exactly. So many possibilities. It's all about diversifying those income streams.
So you're not just relying on one source of income. You've got multiple streams coming in. Love it. Okay, we've reached the final habit, number 7. What's the last piece of advice?
Okay. Number 7 is elige un buen asesor financiero. Choose a good financial advisor. Because here's the thing. You don't have to do this all alone.
Right, sometimes it's good to have an expert in your corner.
Exactly. Especially when it comes to investing and stuff, it can get complicated, right?
Yeah.
So having someone who knows their stuff, who can help you make a plan and reach your goals.
It's like having a personal trainer, but for your finances. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. But what I love about all 7 of these habits is they're not about getting rich quick or anything like that. It's about making smart choices, building good habits.
It's a marathon, not a sprint, right?
Exactly. It's about playing the long game and being intentional about your finances.
And it's not just about the money, really. It's about having the freedom to design the life that you want.
Yes. 100%. It's about taking control of your money so your money doesn't control you. That's what this whole deep dive has been about. So, for everyone listening, we'd love to hear from you. Which of these 7 habits really resonated with you? And what's one small step that you can take today to start, putting it into action? It doesn't have to be anything huge. Remember, small steps.
Absolutely. Progress over perfection, always.
Yes.
Even if it's just like setting up that automatic transfer to your savings account or, having a conversation with your partner about your financial goals.
Exactly. And hey, if these simple financial habits can have such a big impact, what other areas of your life could you apply them to, right? Your health, your relationships, your career. The possibilities are endless. So until next time, keep diving deep and keep those financial goals in sight.